Welcome to a new episode in SAT Grammar Mastery. Today I'm going to be teaching you some tips and tricks that I wish I knew before I took the SAT. And let's get started right away. Today we're going to be talking about semicolons. And when it comes to semicolons on the SAT, there are two main rules. So the first rule is when you want to connect two independent clauses. Both sides of the sentence must be complete sentences because that's what an independent clause is. And a good trick to remember is that a semicolon can replace a period. It basically is a period because we can see I finished the homework, period, I went to bed. That would also be grammatically correct. But since they both relate, because you finished the homework and then you went to bed, we can use a semicolon to connect them into one sentence and join the two independent clauses. Because I was tired, semicolon, I went to bed. This is incorrect. And the reason that this is incorrect is because I was tired is not a complete sentence. It is a dependent clause, not an independent clause. And yeah, so basically just remember that when you use semicolons, you can use it to connect two independent clauses. All right, let's move on to the next rule. So the second rule is you use semicolons in complex lists. So you would use semicolons to separate list items that are already containing commas. For example, I visited Albany, New York, Austin, Texas, and Salem, Oregon. So the reason we use semicolons here is because if we use commas, it would look as if Albany was its own thing, and New York was its own thing, and Austin was its own thing, and Texas was its own item in the list. Since we use semicolons, we know that Albany, New York itself is one item. And since it already includes commas, it would be less confusing if there was a semicolon versus if there were commas. So just remember, do not do this where it says Albany, comma, New York, comma, Austin, comma, Texas, because it acts as if Albany is its own place and then New York is its own place, which technically it is, but we're using Albany, New York to represent the city of Albany in New York. All right. So, yeah, those are basically the two main rules. And without further ado, let's jump right into the practice question for today. So I encourage you to read the question and pause the video if you want to get a better look at it. And yeah. Okay, so I assume that you've paused the video and read it and answered it. And let's go over it together. The Mission 66 initiative, which was approved by Congress in 1956, represented a major investment in the infrastructure of overburdened national blank. It prioritized physical improvements to the park's roads, utilities, employee housing, and visitor facilities while also establishing educational programming for the public. Which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? Okay, so we know infrastructure of overburdened national, and we know the next word is parks because all of these include parks. So right off the bat, we know that, okay, the Mission 66 initiative, which was approved by Congress in 1956, represented a major investment in the infrastructure of overburdened national parks. That is a full sentence. And then we have another full sentence here. It prioritized physical improvements to the park's railroads, roads, utilities, employee housing, etc., etc. And we know that they're two independent clauses. So technically, in this situation, it would be fair to connect the two sentences with a period. But there's no period here. There's no period in the answer choices seen here. There's only a semicolon. And we remember that one of the rules states that a semicolon is equivalent to a period in most cases. So we can actually just say parks, semicolon, and then it prioritizes that. And that would complete the sentence so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English. Alright everybody, that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. Remember, when I do reach 100 subscribers, I will be dropping a full SAT English grammar guide, and it'll have everything that you need to know about grammar and to ace that grammar section on the SAT. So make sure that you subscribe and ring the notification bell for future uploads. And yeah.